Okay, the 250 Prado is about to come out. It's only a few days away before the embargo is lifted and people can start driving them and taking their cars away. So it's imminent and it's been hotly anticipated. People have been ordering them like hotcakes. Everyone wants one. First off, I think they look absolutely amazing. Love the way they look. I think they've hit it out of the park. I know it's a bit divisive, the boxy look, but this is a bit of a rant video because I think there's one huge problem with the upcoming Prado. So Holly and I have had one on order for a while now. We kind of got it as soon as we could. We could potentially be picking one up next week, and we are still going to get it because we want to test it out. We want to show you people what they can do, tow, take it out bush, and just sort of have it as a bit of a touring vehicle. Now, there's a few things with this new Prado. Big issues. So there's only two variants that have 5 seats. That's the GX, which is the lowest variant, and the Altitude, which is the upper spec off-road special sort of edition variant. Every other variant has a third row seat, so 7 seats. Now, that's really handy for some people, except a lot of people probably don't want the third row seats. Now, you're thinking, oh, easy, just remove the third row. From the reports I've heard, you can't remove it. It will actually void the warranty, apparently, if you remove the third row seat. And the reason for that is there's a 48 volt assisted technology in this engine. They're not calling it a hybrid, but it's got an electric engine and a battery, and that battery is under the third row of seats. So apparently they're saying you can avoid the warranty. Another thing with removing your back seats is sort of the legalities around it. Now, there's the voiding your warranty issue, but there's also sort of some legal things around removing your seats. From what I understand, it's something weird, like you can take them out with basic hand tools as long as they can be put back in easily. Again, just check up on this. The problem really comes when you start removing seat belts, and that's when you sort of need mod plates and engineering. And so if you want to do it properly, that's all going to be costing money. Engineering's not cheap. I know it sort of ranges depending on what you're doing. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is sort of the legalities around it. What are you avoiding? What engineering do you need? What are you liable for? It's just a bit hard to know, and you sort of got to take a bit of care with it. I mean, the other option is just rip it all out and just go for it. I mean, a lot of people do that. And with voiding your warranty anyway, I mean, like, yeah, put a sticker on a Toyota these days and they won't honour the warranty. Our Troopy is no warranty on that, and we've been cruising around in it. So yeah, it's sort of what are you prepared to do? I don't know if you've seen any photos of the third row seats, but I've seen them in person. They are the biggest afterthought in human history. The way they've just plonked them in there is shocking. They're not flush at all. They sit so high in the boot. Probably like you're taking it like this much height in the boot. To combat that, to make it sort of flush in the back, they've put this big ugly plastic box just sitting at the back that you can remove. But the problem is, if you did remove the plastic box and you left your third row seat in, and then you folded the second row seats up, which a lot of people do for transporting stuff or just to have that big boot space, you've then got this massive shape in the back. It's horrible. And as I said, I've seen it. And the funny thing is the previous model, they folded flush. From what I know, they fold flush. Not only that, the previous model, because it had the spare tyre on the back door, which had its own problems with like the hinges and stuff rattling, but because it had the spare tyre on the back door, it meant that you got a 150 litre fuel tank underneath. This is on the old model. You also had the seats fold flush, and I'm pretty sure most of the variants of the previous model had a diff lock from factory. The only one that has diff lock from factory, to my knowledge, is the Altitude in the new one. So the capacity of the new 250 Prado is 110 litres in the fuel tank. They've got like a little sub as well, but it's all just one tank essentially. One fuel point, one tank. There's no sort of switching over sub-tanks. And then it has a 17 litre AdBlue to meet like Euro 6 emission standards or something like that, which is a pain as well. If you're travelling, you kind of always want to have a bit on hand. I don't know what the interval is where you're going to have to be replacing the AdBlue, but it still has a DPF as well, so that is a bit of a pain. The previous model had 140 litre capacity, I believe, so it's a bit of a downgrade there. Now, another thing with the boot situation, with the battery being underneath, is apparently Toyota have put a little label in the boot saying 60 kilo load limit. Now, it's probably this them being extra safe. Obviously, you could probably put more on that, but that does seem pretty ridiculous. I mean, like, if you've got 2 kids in the back, that's going to be 60 kilos. You know, your luggage for the weekend or whatever, it's going to be pretty easy to get 60 kilos. So I don't think that's necessarily the case that, you know, if you put 61 kilos on it, the car's going to blow up. But again, another funny thing. Yeah, as I said, I'll chuck some photos up of this third row seat. It's horrible. It's such a bad afterthought. So you think, all right, well, we'll get the 5-seat variant. So there's the 5-seat variant and the GX, which is what we're looking at, which is the lowest spec. But there's some things missing in that car for an $80,000 car that you really want. So I think people really want the GXL. You've got your leather seats, you've got air in the back, you've got electric seats, you've got all these other really nice to haves. And again, if you're spending that much money in a car, you kind of want them. Because we're getting the GX, because we're like, all right, well, we don't want the third seat. This is kind of before I knew you couldn't even remove them. We decided to get that. But we're like, oh, I actually really like heated seats. And I know it sounds silly, but again, when you're spending that much money on a car, you kind of expect it. And like our runabout, which is currently a 2015 Subaru Outback, electric memory seats, heated seats. Great, you jump in, you press the button, your seat goes to your position. This car, it's all manual, which again, it's fine. It's just, I don't know, it feels a bit, like you're just not getting a great deal. Okay. So next thing, you think, all right, well, why don't you go the Altitude? That's got 5 seats, and you get a rear diff lock, and you get some really cool colours. You can get Ningaloo Blue, or you can get Tanami Taupe, Sandy Taupe, you can get two-tone. I think they look absolutely awesome. Absolutely love it, and we actually, first off, wanted that car. Then we priced it up. I think drive away was $103,000 for the Altitude. Now, 300 starts at 104. Yes, the interior wouldn't be as nice, but you're getting a way better engine, and you're getting a way better platform, and you're getting a bigger car. Now, why would you spend $104,000 on a Prado, $103,000 on a Prado, when you can spend $104,000 and get a 300? I think it's a no-brainer. Just go to 300, obviously. If you want to go off-road, you're going to be going the bigger Land Cruiser. So that's why we didn't get the Altitude. This could all be a little bit wrong. I think it could be speculation, but if there's anything that you think's wrong or I haven't put in there, comment below. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear if you've ordered one. I want to hear if this is going to affect your order. It's a weird one. It's a really odd, drop of the ball. And I also have heard a lot of dealers, that was their biggest gripe when they sort of saw the release. They said this third row is ridiculous. I've heard that from Toyota dealers. Also, the ordering process has been really weird with the new Prado. So essentially, Toyota is letting people buy them. They're letting people put orders in and everything. There's no brochures out. You can't go onto the Australian website and even see what the colour looks like. So Holly and I, we saw this weird little brochure that sort of the dealers had. Now, I'm not going at any dealers or anything or any particular salesman. They've all been pretty good. But just the way Toyota has done the release. So we couldn't even see what the colours look like. So we said, all right, well, we'll go the midnight alloy, because we thought it was like a dark grey that we'd been seeing in some pictures in America, like a metallic grey. It's not. It's like a blue dark grey. And then there was a dusty bronze, and in the brochure, like this little colour square, it dead set looked gold, like a gold colour. And I'm like, that's ugly as, gold. Turns out it's actually like a very, very warm silver. It's not gold at all, but it was just frustrating that, you're spending this much money in a car and you can't even see a brochure and you don't even know what colour you're getting. You don't know what the interior looks like, and it's just odd that they were sort of letting people buy them. That was probably another gripe I had with it. So now we're a bit up in the air about what colour we kind of want and when we're going to get that, and if we change it, we won't get it sooner. Anyway, first world problems. But anyway, it's an odd one. Keen to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us, is this going to affect you buying the new Prado? Keen to hear. Anyway, we'll get back to you in the next one. We'll have an update soon. See ya in the next one. Cheers. Ooh. Rip my pants.